Welcome back, everyone. This is the second sealed pool for Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth. Just like usual, I sorted all the cards ahead of time, kind of collected my thoughts on the pool. So let's see what I ended up with. I'm going to start laying out the rares and the gold cards, but really this pool was difficult for me because there wasn't really a strategy that stuck out to me. So this time around, what I want to do is look at all the rares and the gold cards and our colorless cards and kind of talk through what I was thinking as I started to look through the pool and build the deck. So here's our rares and multicolored cards from the pool. Kind of a good smattering of colors, really. So the first one I want to look at is Aragorn Company Leader. So 1 green white, 3/3. So this one's looking for instances of the ring tempting you in the deck, and then also synergizes with counters. So when I looked through the green and white cards that were available, there was only 4 cards that tempted you with the ring in the green-white pool, and there was really only 2 targets for something like War of the Last Alliance here, which is our other rare. So War of the Last Alliance, this helps dig up legendary creatures and then gives creatures double strike. So if we do a green-white deck with Aragorn, we've only got 2 legendary creatures. We do have a copy of Meriadoc Brandybuck, so only a couple targets for War of the Last Alliance. We do have a little bit of fight in the green pool in the form of Ents Furies, Soothcones, but really just not a lot of ways to break Aragorn's second ability. I was hoping there was a lot of +1/+1 counters in the green pool that we could start to leverage Aragorn's ability, but there really wasn't much. So green-white didn't stick out to me at the beginning, so I kind of went on looking at the next thing. The next color pair I looked at was Galadriel, so green-blue. So another 3-mana 3/3. Once again, looking for cards where the ring tempts us. There's some scry synergies here as well, where we can get some lands from our deck and potentially ramp into some bigger things. So same story with the temptation cards. So except in this pool, in the green-blue, we only have 3 cards that are tempting us for the ring. But we do have a lot of scry synergies with elves in green. But there's really nothing much either in green or blue that we can ramp into with those extra lands that Galadriel has given us. And then also, not much in the way of bounce or counter or removal spells in blue this time around. We do have some scrying, some amass cards in blue, but really nothing that's really interaction based. This was kind of our one interaction card in Deceive the Messenger. So nothing really for green-blue that stuck out to me too much in this pool. The next color that I looked at was Gandalf's Sanction, so red-blue. So this one's kind of an instance and sorcery themed deck I see with this, and then we also have a copy of Glamdring. So this is really one thing that I thought could potentially work out in this pool, knowing that blue and red both have a lot of spells. So there was some good synergies I kind of showed earlier with like Surrounded by Orcs, Deceive the Messenger, a couple of amass cards, and then in red we also have a decent amount of burn spells this time around, as well as some amass synergies. But one thing that I noticed with going into a red-blue is that we give up on things like War of the Last Alliance, so being able to dig out our legendary creatures, which is kind of nice. And then also Éowyn here. There's not a lot of splashing or color fixing in this pool, so it might be hard to do a 3-color deck if we were to try to do red, blue, and splash for Éowyn. So I kind of put red, blue in the back of my mind. That might be an option. Other cards here, King of the Oathbreakers, 2 white, black for a 3/3 flying. There's no other spirits anywhere else in the pool, and this time black is actually a little bit shallow in this pool. Although I really do like cards like Mordor Trebuchet. So 3-mana 1/4 defender, kind of launches those ballistic boulders out at your opponents if you have a goblin and orc themed deck. So I really want to try to make this work. We had 2 copies in this pool. I think this is a really fun looking card, so this is in the back of my mind to try to make work during this format. And then the other multicolor cards, Strider, Ranger of the North, 4-mana 4/4. So good stats and looking to pump creatures. Really, I think this could be a fine deck, even though the creature package, as we look into some of the red cards here in a bit, is a little uninspiring. But I think this could have been an option for the deck using the green and red cards that we have, because red does have some good removal. So what I ultimately did end up on, which is kind of what I was alluding to, was a red-white deck. So we can use cards like Eowyn and the Last Alliance, and then also Éomer, 4-mana 4/4 as well. So let's take a look at the deck that I did end up with, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to lay it out by curve just to show what we've got going on here. Talk a little bit about what are the things that I'm looking at that I like the looks of here. So we've already talked about War of the Last Alliance a lot. Helps dig up our legendary creatures. So we've got 2 in this deck, Éowyn and Éomer, that it can dig up. I do like that we're running a decent package of instants as well. So when we were looking at Gandalf's Sanction and the red-blue cards, there was a decent amount of burn in red this time around. I added this copy of Fiery Inscription, so adding some more damage to the instants and sorcery spells that we cast. We also have 2 cards of Rally at the Hornburg, so making tokens. And this is one of the reasons why I leaned into red-white as opposed to red-blue. It's because these 2 cards are 2 sorceries that are going to help with Fiery Inscription, also making tokens that we're going to be able to buff with creatures like Esquire the King, buffing our creatures, or cards like Eagles of the North over here, giving our creatures +1/+0, and First Strike when it enters the battlefield. We do have some removal in the form of, where'd it go? Oh yeah, Fearfire Foes is one here. And then we also have other ways to pump the creatures like Second Breakfast, Control, and Fog on the Barrow Downs. So this is the red-white deck that I ended up with. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know which direction you would have taken with this. Are you drawn to the more red-green build, or does something else catch your eye? Is Glamdring too much of a stretch to put into the deck? Stay tuned also, because we're going to be playing this deck against the first deck that we built in the format. So see you next time.